Hello. How are you doing, everyone? We're so glad to see you. We're so glad you're here joining us. Welcome back to Unqualified, the podcast. If this is your first time listening, I am one of your hosts, Shaya, and I'm joined by my other two co-hosts, Hadassah.
Guys, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And Day.
Oop,
And
my
Day.
bad. Hey guys.
And we also have our producer Kamal here, joining us.
Hello. Why does
Guys,
my
we're
intro always
continuing
sound
this
so
journey.
sad? Yes, but yeah, Kamal's here too.
Yeah,
It always no,
because
but
I
it's
have
supposed
to
to make
remember
more
you.
fun.
That was
Come
crazy.
on, be
Okay.
like, hey guys.
Guys, we're continuing this journey of remote podcasting, and it's a battle, it's a struggle. So
It's rough
please
out
bear with
here.
us. It really is. It really is. But regardless, today we are talking about a fun little easy breezy beautiful topic. Hadassah got all dressed up for it. We are talking about our favorite fantasy worlds. So worlds that exist in fiction and in fantasy stories. Hadassah's gonna bring all her book knowledge to the table. And it's
Love
gonna
it.
be I hope I hope it because I can't and I don't think they can.
A
So
minute
you're
now.
our only
I only
hope.
have like two.
Wait, are we only talking about book fantasy worlds?
You're our only
No.
no.
Oh, okay.
But
Hello.
we need to touch on all and
Exactly.
Hadassah's our book nerd, so come through Hadassah.
Exactly.
I'll try. Yeah.
Where do we start
Okay.
though? Do you have some in mind off the top of our heads?
Would
I want to start
maybe
with
go ahead,
like
Hadassah?
let's start kind of broad, kind of general. Like, what are y'all's favorite type of fantasy worlds? Like mine, I love fairies. Anything that's like fae, fairy with a Y, fairy with the like AIRE, whatever the difference is between those. I don't
Is
know,
there a
but
difference?
I don't know, but people just spell it interesting
Isn't one
ways.
like
But
like the English way of
fairy,
spelling it, and the other one's like the more Americanized version?
maybe.
I thought there was like a biological difference. It doesn't matter.
I have no idea, but I love fairies, whether they have wings or they're just like fae. So that's my favorite. Yeah. There was
Yeah.
a big Tinkerbell world, like Pixie Hollow stand. Oh, yeah.
Pixie Hollow Stan is crazy. Um I think for me I like adventuring kind of worlds like um off the top of my head like where we're doing like sword fighting and we're like knights and ladies and lords and like stuff like that like I don't know like throw a dragon in there, like throw a weird mythical creature, throw in some deities, stuff like that. Is my jam. Like I don't play D&D, but I enjoy like listening and like hearing about D&D because I like the world that it's in. I think that's cool. So worlds like that are tend to be my favorites.
I kind of
And
agree.
yeah,
The yeah,
yeah,
like the fairy book kind of stories, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Ooh,
So like,
come on.
you guys like princesses and like kings, like the royal kind of thing.
I don't know about royal. That might be too much, but more like just the kingdom. I guess you could kind of say like
yeah,
Kingdom
yeah.
that has a
royal.
king that's royal.
Well, I don't care about the royal people. I want to hear about the people going to fight the dragon. The royal people
Exactly.
ain't
I
doing
don't.
nothing.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't want to hear
no,
about the royals, but the people in the kingdom doing the stuff
yeah,
are the
no,
cool
I get that.
people.
I was just asking, like, in a world that has that, you know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
because some fantasy world, well, I mean, most fantasy worlds I do feel like have some sort of government system that's like, a
Mhm.
lot of the times I feel like it's a king or like a queen, whatever. And then sometimes I guess it's like whatever else is. I don't
One
know.
of one of the like examples of like the royal ones that I love was a show from a minute ago called Once Upon a Time, and it
Oh my
Oh,
was
god.
Yeah.
I love Once Upon a Time.
met the guy that
Love.
played Peter Pan. It's really
What about
nice.
him? Oh, you met
Uh,
him? Oh,
Yeah, I
slay.
met him, and my phone was at 20% when I met him, and it like we were
Not
posing
surprised.
for a selfie, and the like 20% battery thing popped up. I was like, oh, and he just clicked it and like looked at me, and then just took the picture.
Him
Yeah,
clicking
one thing
it
about
is
Hadassah,
kind
she
of
gonna stay with
crazy.
the low phone battery.
The fact that he clicked it
Adassa's
away.
phone is never charged, y'all.
Yeah, well,
Hadassah's
cause
phone
like
is never charged.
he looked at me and he
Never
was like,
charged.
girl. He didn't say girl, but like his look was like girl.
Well, girl,
He
yeah,
just clicked
that's what we do too.
it. Anyway,
Yeah, but I love that
But
show because like it goes back and forth between like, oh, we're in the real world, regular Maine, and then we're also in this world with like fairies and princesses and queens and kings and all that stuff. It's like based off like storybook fairy tales, but like more adult for ABC, and it was really cool to go back and forth. So I love that show even though it's kind of bad.
kind
nice,
Mhm.
nice.
True. I used to watch that show
Um,
religiously.
it
Same.
is good. The premise of the story is good.
Yeah.
The premise of the
They
show
didn't have
of
the
the
budget
story
to
is just
support that.
Disney, but messed up.
True. That's literally all it is, though. But Disney
Mhm.
messed up an adult.
Yeah. They shouldn't
That
have the
family tree
budgets.
looking crazy.
It really does.
Um, but when I was thinking about ideas for this episode, I was like, we have to do fantasy worlds because I feel like there's a bunch of stuff coming out now. So there's the new Hunger Games movie, um,
Mhm.
which I guess we could start there first if we want to talk about like the dystopia epidemic that happened in the
Epidemic.
2010s. It was bad, y'all. Every movie was a dystopian movie. There was not one original idea coming out that movie theater. It was all dystopian movies. And I watched, and I sat down in that movie theater and I watched Scar Me for Life. I hate dystopian stuff now, but I have to give
Really?
her props. I can't watch it. I
it was
can't
a good
watch it.
time.
It's
Like
too
all the books and everything too. Like I
Mm.
ate it up. Like if it was some 16-year-old white girl, because it was always a 16-year-old white girl, was like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, like I'm different from my family and the world's falling apart. I'm gonna overthrow the government and be cool and unique. Like I ate it up. I ate it up every time.
It
Although my
very
personal
much.
favorite was Maze Runner, so that wasn't a 16-year-old white girl, but
Ooh, love Maze Runner.
Nah, yeah,
Love
that was
Maze
a
Runner so
16-year-old white
much.
boy.
yeah, 16-year-old white boy.
exactly.
Also,
We flipped it.
I don't know if you guys ever like read the books during that time, but like the Ugly series, which they've been talking about making into
Hmm.
like a show or a movie for like years and years and years. That book, oh my gosh, it was so good because it was like still dystopian, but it was a little different because if you haven't read it or heard about it, it's like this 16-year-old white girl, I think, and like in this society, everyone is ugly until like I think they turn 16 or something, and
Mm.
like you go through this thing where you either like find out if you're gonna be like pretty, I think, or like stay ugly or something. I don't know. I could be wrong because I have not read this book since I was like
Oh,
Ooh,
so
that's
12.
crazy.
Saya, why did you laugh?
That's crazy.
If you're like ugly, then like you're lower in society. And then there's like a whole bunch of stuff that happens, and it's like
Oh,
this
I'm
terrible,
sorry.
painful process I think you have to go through in order to become pretty or something.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like I completely forgot, but I ate that book up. That was like my favorite.
I'm
It
so
felt like a
sorry.
dangerous book to be
Saya,
reading in
stop
middle
laughing
school,
real quick.
but
That's what else I was reading in middle school. 13 Reasons Why. So
Ooh,
I mean, no, I
yeah.
read the
girl.
But we
ugliest too.
already know about Hadassah.
I mean, no, I read that book too.
Oh, okay.
Hadassah was
Yeah,
writing
Okay, do you remember like
psychotic fan
was that
fiction
what it
at
was
12
about?
years
yeah,
old.
no, that was extremely
This is
Well,
accurate to
true.
what it's about. It's you're ugly till
okay.
like 16,
Okay, cool,
and then
cool.
there's like painful cosmetic surgery that makes you a pretty. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really messed
Okay,
up.
cool, cool, cool.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's
Maya,
so
stop laughing.
it's
Stop
so fucked
laughing.
up to call a 15-year-old ugly. Like, it's not
not
even
just
like you're full
ugly.
adult and you're
They use
ugly.
it as like an item. It's you're either an ugly or a pretty. They're like nouns. They're not
Yeah, not even
adjectives.
like an adjective. Like that's who you are. Like
Yes,
that is a type
you're an
of person.
ugly
Is an
until you're not.
ugly.
Maya,
That book was so good though. Like
I actually don't want to see that as a TV show or a movie. I think actually that needs to stay
Mm-mm.
I think
on
they're
paper.
making it, and Joey King is the main character.
Oh, all right. Well, on to our next. I don't know how I feel about that. We'll see once it comes out. Yeah, dystopian movies, dystopian. I was
Yeah.
huge. I just think sometimes dystopian movies are good. It's I don't know. I think they're just hard to put in a movie if that makes sense. Like it's easy to do when it's on paper and you can imagine all this stuff for yourself, and then when it hits the movie, sometimes
Yeah, I think it's because
it
like
doesn't do what needs to be done.
most of the dystopian books, like there were so many elements going on that like having
Right.
to force that into one movie is just a lot. And at the time, I think they did it well. Like at the time, obviously, the teenager was like watching it, or every preteen was watching it, so like they knew what they were doing. But in the long run, I think like, a lot of those they wanted to be like huge franchises, which games obviously worked. But like I know some of the other ones like Divergent and like Maze Runner, who was like a slight decline afterwards. Like I was still
Yeah.
watching them, but I know like as a whole, like it kind of went downhill.
I think that like it serves itself for a good story, but I think you gotta have some unique twists. Like Divergent, there was nothing unique or like fun about that world that was different than every other ooh, I cannot stand Divergent. I actually
I have
really do
all the
not
movies on
enjoy it.
DVD
All the movies,
except for
the movies.
except for Alita.
Not even the books, the movies.
Yeah, I have Divergent and Insurgent. I have the first book, I think.
Okay. Well, you know, sometimes
Mm-mm.
it that it just is what it is. Cause
But I
then
think
Sorry, at the time it had all my favorite actors. What's her face? Shailene Woodley and
what's her
somebody
face?
who obviously has been kind of canceled. But at the time, it was like I was a John Green girl, so I was like, her stars, and then Divergent, So yeah, 12-year-old me was living the life.
That's okay. Something
fine.
about 12-year-old you scares me real
It's
bad.
very
It's
scary,
always
yeah.
12-year-old you.
He was scary.
It's always
actually.
12-year-old you.
Yeah.
But I think
But
that
it's okay.
I think that these movies were so popular because they really played into the trend at the time, and I bring this up a lot because I was a victim to it. But the not like other girls trend, like the main
Oh,
character was always
definitely.
special and different for some reason. Like she didn't fit in with the crowd. Like in Divergent, she's literally like,
Only
"You
wear
are
pants.
divergent," da, 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 da. Right? I don't wear my hair down. I wear it in a ponytail and like stuff like that. Like we were eating up these girls who were just like rejected femininity, and I
No.
personally would like reparations because it kind of stunted my adolescence. So all
Really,
of y'all
especially like as a
maybe.
preteen during that time, like obviously going through a lot's going on up there, and like for me, I was kind of the opposite. Like I wasn't like the girl that was like I'm not like other girls. I just wanted so badly to be like liked and like to fit in, I guess. And watching these like movies or reading these books and like knowing like good and well I would never be the main character or like never, I don't know, it just made me feel like dang, like it was just a lot of thoughts, a lot of
Hmm.
not a good time mentally.
I think they had good intentions. It's just like the execution of it was just like I don't know, something about it I think did more long-term harm. Like, great, we love to see these badass independent women kicking ass on screen, yada yeah. But are they so? Why are they like that though? Like, why are they written like that in a way that's just off-putting? Like, they're not fun
Yeah.
people. They're not fun characters to like
They're
watch,
never fun.
enjoy it. No,
They're
Katniss is a
literally there to
bummer,
do
and
nothing
I
but
get
fight.
why.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Literally
I
just
get
there to
why
fight,
Katniss is a
save the
bummer.
day. So I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I think just
I
like
don't get it.
at the time, like the thing I love so much about fantasy worlds, like no matter what form they come in, is that it is the perfect escape away from like real life. And like I think even though the dystopians like had a lot of issues at the time, like they were a good escape, especially for someone who's young and is able to be like, whoa, like like just completely escape and like picture yourself in that world. And I think they did a good job. Like Maze Runner, oh yeah. Also, I
Maze
just
Runner
really love
eats.
Dylan O'Brien, so like,
I love Dylan
yeah.
O'Brien so
Come on the show.
much.
Dylan,
Come on the
Come on the show,
show.
Dylan.
Not to bring up
Guys,
like,
I've been.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just real quick, I've been rewatching Teen Wolf, and first of all, they had $15 to make that show, but it's okay because I love Dylan O'Brien so much. He was eating that character up. Best part about the show, hands down.
So
Dylan
how do we
O'Brien.
always end up back at the CW?
That was MTV, sir.
Was it?
It sure was.
Okay, I
You
definitely
know
thought that
your
was
That was
Lord.
CW.
MTV.
Okay, my mistake.
Mm-mm. Favorite season, obviously season 3 is the best one.
Season
Void Styles, are
3.
you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You was
Eats.
so fine.
Mm-hmm.
But how was the
But I
writing?
feel like that's a good segue.
Was the writing good?
Did it matter?
We don't need to talk
I
about
don't
that.
think it mattered.
We don't need to talk about that. Well, the writing doesn't matter if you got a bunch of hot boys with their shirts off running around pretending to be
Exactly.
wolves.
Exactly. It
Okay.
didn't matter.
Right over there.
Okay. My bad.
But I feel like that's a good segue
Stay out of women's business.
into a different fantasy world. The werewolf and vampire pandemic
Oh,
that happened
wait.
also. All of these are like diseases. All of them are like diseases.
But there's
honestly.
specific
Yeah.
types though. There were like ranges to those worlds. There was the
Yeah.
Twilight versions,
See,
and then there was
okay.
like the Underworld versions. Those are like
I'm
vastly
not
different.
talking about they are, but I'm talking about in this era, it was mostly the Twilight
Ugh.
vampire
Yeah.
versus werewolf, get the girl kind of TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
Now this I
Yeah.
am. I hate to. Unfortunately, I ate Teen Wolf, Vampire Diaries, like the Supernatural. I ate it up. However,
Ate it up.
however, I actually can't defend myself. Like I was in the fandoms. Yeah.
Here's the
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? They're not good pieces of storytelling. I think that's clear. But being an adolescent girl at the time, these shows know what they were doing. They knew what they were doing when they cast these people in these roles and said, we're going to get the finest heifers on the block to play these werewolves and vampires. And that's really all they needed. Like, there was the storyline sucked, the acting sucked, special effects sucked. But the actors, they were giving me all I needed personally.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Take your shirt off," and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Really,
yeah."
I think
It's sad, really.
again, it was just like the best escape, and it like created a community, because like you could just talk to people, like get to like, oh, you Team Edward or Team Jacob, and then like just everything. I don't know. It was just a vibe, like a complete vibe. The energy just, especially around that time, like 2010s, like it was just chef's kiss, perfect.
I was on the Teen Wolf Tumblr tag. I was a active member of the Teen Wolf Tumblr.
Yeah.
the way the pictures are coming up in my mind from that time. Oh, I'm having flashbacks.
Hashtag
I
Steric.
can't breathe.
Do y'all know about hashtag
Oh my God.
Steric?
Of course I do. Can we get off this
Oh
topic?
no!
I don't want to talk about
I
this
want to know though.
anymore.
Are you guys more werewolf or more vampire? And I'm not talking about like Twilight. I just mean like in general when it comes to fantasy worlds.
Like who we would rather read about or something
Yeah, I
else?
guess so. Like I'm more vampire just because like I like their stories more. And also
Taya.
like if I had to picture myself in that main character's place, I don't think I want to be with a werewolf. I think I'd rather be with a vampire because werewolf is
See, that's what I'm
borderline dark.
asking. We talk
See,
about like
I feel like
be
we're
with or like.
So
yeah,
all of the
we're
above.
answering these questions differently because I
Come
was
on,
thinking
shut up.
fighting. I was thinking fighting styles and like superpowers that you get from one of them. I was like, yeah, completely
I'm thinking about
different.
who you want to be with.
Yeah, exactly. Who do you want to be with?
I was like, who's your boyfriend?
Okay,
Who's your
well,
boyfriend? At the
then
end of the day?
I'm not gonna answer the question anymore because
No.
we was on different
Go ahead.
wavelengths.
Come on. Go ahead and answer.
Who's your partner, Kamal? It doesn't have to be.
Well, can I answer? Well, I can't answer from that. Well, I guess I can because Underworld, she was still a vampire in that. So in that sense, I guess vampires. But in the sense that I was originally thinking, like just like powers and abilities, I say werewolf if I'm the person, but if I'm like living in the world and like fighting with them, then vampires. Because I feel like it's more fun to fight with vampires, but it'd be more fun to actually be a werewolf. Now y'all can go ahead and answer your
Okay.
way, because my answer
I
was
want a
not what y'all.
werewolf boyfriend.
A
I
werewolf
want my
boyfriend?
werewolf boyfriend.
You don't think
They
you
were
too
more
furry?
in the. No, but here's the thing though. In the TV shows and in the movies, basically what I'm thinking of, I always thought the werewolf person was more fun than the vampire person. Every
Yeah.
single time. I didn't care who it was. I was like, if there's a vampire or a werewolf against each other, not only that, but like the werewolves, and maybe this is something weird coded, but the vampires will always be white, and then the werewolves will always be the person of color. I peeped that a long time ago, and I
I
was
feel like we know
Yeah.
why
damn, let's
that
wrap
is.
that
We know
up.
why
The
that is.
Let's wrap that up.
the vampires
But-
also always look sickly, like just a tad.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
do,
they
yeah.
can get in the
'Cause they
sun or else
are.
they'll burn, unless you're Twilight, and then you'll sparkle. But usually,
Yeah, I
they'll
hated
burn.
that so
What
much.
did he say?
I'll never
Did he say,
forgive
like-
the
It's
sparkly
like
vampires.
werewolves day, which I can see what you mean because if you were dating like a werewolf, at least they'd be human for like some time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like a vampire is
Right.
always gonna be a vampire, like always.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
So, and then what if you're like, oh, let's have a cute little picnic, and he's like, I can't get in the sun, you know?
That's it.
You know? So,
I agree. I agree.
yeah.
Um,
I had a joke, but I'm not gonna make it.
Go ahead, come on.
No.
Make a joke.
Nah.
Go ahead and say it. We can edit it out if it's too crazy.
Niggas. Well, how you gonna edit it out properly? It's gonna just be a random cut in the episode.
I should have known.
Okay,
You-
guys.
I
Okay,
tried
guys,
to
we're
avoid
back.
it.
The joke was out of pocket. The joke was out of pocket,
that out
but
of
we're just gonna
pocket?
keep moving. We're gonna keep moving. We're not gonna talk about what Kamal just did.
Anywho,
I
I
apologize. I tried to warn them.
personally, I personally, I forgot what we were even talking about. Werewolves.
Or werewolf boyfriend.
Oh, I would rather have a werewolf boyfriend. Because personally in my life, I have been with some vampire-looking motherfuckers, and it's not as hyped up as it's supposed to be.
That was so aggressive.
Out of
Oh my
pocket.
god.
Every answer has been out of pocket.
I just say I have been with some people who resemble vampires, and it's just not what it's built up to be.
Get you
So
though.
feel like
I
that was
would
almost
go
as
with
bad
a
as what I said.
a werewolf.
That was worse than what you said, come on. That was actually worse.
No, but wait. Okay, so here's the thing.
I didn't say no
Yeah,
names.
I'm
I didn't
saying
say no
look
names.
Like vampires. I mean, you kind of did, I guess, but
I didn't say no names.
I'm not gonna finish with saying what I really want to say. But yeah, I mean the vampire versus werewolf pandemic that happened. Twilight is mostly blamed for some of
werewolves have
that.
tails though. Yeah, they do, don't they?
Not when they're
No,
human.
it depends on the
Werewolves?
design of the
Yeah.
werewolf. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Cause you know that's the one that stands up too. Did
Mhm.
y'all ever
Yeah.
watch what was that show? What was that show? That British TV show and they were werewolves. What show was that? Oh my god. Well, Somebody will know what
I
I'm
don't
talking
know.
about in the comment
I don't
section.
know. Have y'all
I ain't
seen
that
Vampire
I ain't
Academy
that show
though?
up.
That show is. I mean, that movie is good.
Was that
Vampire
Twilight
Academy?
spoof?
Oh,
Oh.
Oh, I did watch Vampire
Shia.
Academy. I do know what you're talking. That was the one with Zoe Deschanel.
That's a
Not
good
Zoe
one.
Deschanel. Zoe Deutsch.
Joey Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. But that also reminded me of like, did you guys ever watch Shadowhunters? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
moving forward into the fantasy world that's more like underworld, more like paranormal, like dark,
Right.
like they were like demon slayers or whatever. I don't know, something.
Those are the worlds I
Yeah.
like. I like the worlds where there's a hunter or there's like a slayer of something in that world, like The Witcher and like the Van Helsing vampire hunter type stuff. If there's someone hunting, that's the type
Ooh,
of
I
world.
Very
love
like
Van Helsing. I'm not
dark.
gonna lie.
What?
They had Hunters and Teen Wolf.
Okay, now. Ooh,
Yeah, but we're
Supernatural.
moving on to like
They're hunters, like worlds like that.
I love
Okay,
Supernatural.
yeah, I know a lot of people did not like City of Bones, Shadowhunters, whatever, because it like wasn't a good representation of the book. But I liked it, mainly because I didn't read the book, so I had no idea. I thought the thing I like about those are that it almost feels just a tiny bit more realistic sometimes because it is a little darker, so like it's not all happy, shiny rainbows all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So those are good, I think.
I'm trying to think. I didn't watch Mortal Instruments or Shadowhunters or anything like that because I think I don't know. I need some levity. I need some brightness. I need some kikis. And there wasn't a lot of kikis in those shows. So
A little bit.
they didn't grab me too much. I mean, they
Mine
tried to
was
key.
blonde. That was bright enough.
Okay.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it would be very serious. No jokes. No jokes.
Mhm.
I'm like, dang. I was like, can I laugh
There
a
were some
little
jokes
bit?
in Mortal Instruments.
They weren't funny.
Did they land? Did they land? Did they stick?
No, honestly, I think I just liked it because I thought the guy was cute, I think. And
Yeah.
honestly, he wasn't even that cute, but at the time, I just thought he was cute. No offense to that actor.
Why is this what it keeps coming back to? I thought he was fine.
Yeah,
So
like
watch
can
the
we
show, ladies,
please
free
talk about the
ourselves.
story, the writing, the quality? Like how was the
Can you please ask me
cinematography,
about
you
my
know?
day?
How was the set decoration? Something.
I wasn't paying attention to that then.
Okay, maybe we should.
That's
Okay,
not what
hold on.
this is
Let's
about.
take a break. Let's take a break for the TV shows and the movies real quick. Go back to the books so we can
Okay,
actually.
well,
Okay,
if we're
well,
gonna talk
what?
about books,
Speaking
I
of
can talk
books,
about.
oh wait, I'll let you go.
Oh, that's okay. Come on, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, what? Why did it seem so aggressive? I'm not coming for you right now yet. So I was saying, in the books,
Okay,
the
so let me.
worlds that I really like are those worlds that are like almost the world we live in, but like secretly there's a bunch of other stuff going on. So like Percy Jackson. I don't know if you've read like the Chronicles of Nicholas,
Woo,
where there's like
Percy
all that type of
Jackson.
stuff. All right, that was kind of crazy, Shy. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that you didn't even look at the bookshelf, you
very
just
I
turned
didn't
around and
know.
grabbed it. But yeah, like
I love me
I
some Percy
what was it?
Jackson.
I am number 5 or something, like the alien one. Worlds like that.
Yeah.
Those are my
Ooh,
favorite type of fantasy book worlds.
you, you know what? Something that just for my Percy Jackson lovers, who's your what?
Oh, put those books down.
The fact that they're on the
Which
paperback too.
who's your
Oh, you what?
you
Okay, I
know
got
what dawned
hardcover.
on me?
You ain't got no other books
You
but
know what
Percy
dawned on
Jackson
me
on
the other
that
day
shelf.
about Percy Jackson? That is crazy though. Wait. Something dawned on me the other day. I was like, to be a kid in Percy Jackson, like to have a parent that's a god. Number one, that means like families was getting cheated on and stuff because half the time they would have like two parents. And then another thing that dawned on me, I was like, how y'all the same year? Like, how were y'all born in the same year? If it was like the mom was pregnant, I was like, was she pumping out 100 babies at a time or something? Because that don't add
Wait,
up. But you know
whose
what?
mom was pregnant? What you mean?
I'm just saying, like, if you were a demigod and
Uh-huh.
the god the parent that was a god was a woman, like Aphrodite or whatever. How was she having kids that was born in the same year?
Well, I think they explained that they're like the birth cycle of a god is not the same. Because remember, like Athena's kids technically like pop out her forehead or something.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
Yeah, they pop out her mind.
yeah,
So
It's
I feel
weird.
like Greek
Sorry.
Greek mythology as it is messy, family
yeah.
It
messy.
is.
Plus, I
Yes,
think the gods can
very
like
much
be in
so.
multiple places
Yeah,
at once,
the
kind
cheating
of.
on the parents was crazy. They can, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
the whole
so.
like cheating on your parent thing was crazy. Like that dawned on me, and I was like, wait a minute,
I
wait a
mean,
minute.
the
How do
Greek
Well,
you
no, they
gods
usually
are
didn't because it
my
was usually
parent?
like, oh, they had a kid, and then like whoever the mortal parent was had to like deal with the fact that this person they were in love with just up and left, and then they
yeah.
moved on.
Right. But that was the thing though. I could have sworn that multiple kids though had two parents, even
Yeah,
though
they
they
would
weren't the
eventually,
gods.
but that's because
One
the
wasn't the
god like
god, but
left already. Because the gods never stayed with their mortal
I thought it was
partners.
like they were already there. Maybe I know they didn't
Here's
stay.
the
Yeah,
thing
but I was
about
like,
Greek gods. They are horse. They are
they
very,
are.
very
Don't
whorish.
don't
So
take
That
they
offense
just
to
be
that.
yeah, yeah.
going
Don't take
everywhere.
offense.
I mean,
We didn't
is
mean
it
it
really
like that.
offense
Who's
if
gonna
that's
be
like a
offended?
part of
Zeus?
the literature?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
part of the lore.
That was written.
Yeah.
Did you guys learn about it like
Or it's
in
just a
school?
bad
I
word.
remember, I think 6th grade English, like we talked
Mm-hmm.
about that for like months of like Greek
Mm-hmm.
mythology.
I think I
Yeah,
talked
Just
about it
so
in
same.
Greek
interesting. I think we
mythology
read
is
Percy
like
Jackson as like an assignment.
Same.
So,
yeah, Greek mythology is just so much fun. Like I don't know how to
so
describe
It
it. Like
interesting, I think.
I can now that is something I can read. Like just without like Percy Jackson period, I can read Greek mythology lore and be like, oh, this eat.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
Whoever
mean,
was writing
mm-hmm.
this
there's
all
like
the way back then.
so many retellings of it, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is really cool, and it like never seems to like stop being interesting, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Here's the thing. We talked about this a little bit in our Valentine's Day episode, but the Percy and Annabeth, my loves forever. Look, something about a couple who's gotta like fight to the death together, like who's like against all the odds, like they're constantly nearly dying, really does it for me. I'm like, yes, yes, fall through
Dang,
hair
so
together, like do it all. It's so good. Now this is one thing I will talk about the writing. The writing, like in the Percy Jackson books, it's for kids, right? So it's like the language is not super
right.
complicated or anything like that. But I feel like he still managed to tell these like super complex stories with, again, because it's Greek mythology and Greek mythology is hella complex.
Mm-hmm.
And like incorporating all these elements of Greek mythology, but still make it digestible for the kiddies is very, very cool of him. And I still, as my grown self, read these books. It's the only thing on my bookshelf. So like I think it's great that it can be enjoyed by both the children and my old self.
So which one of us is
Yeah, I
buying the
wanted.
new one?
I think
Because I ain't got book money, but I'm trying to read it.
You
All
still
right.
didn't
Forty
give me
I
that
buy
dollars
book.
books even when
a
I don't have
page.
book money. So
Did you say $40 a page?
Hmm.
Wow. All right.
I, with what you said, Shia, it reminded me of a fantasy world. I feel like we at least have to mention. Author
Yeah.
aside, we are not talking about the author. We are apart from the
Mm,
author, but
Yeah.
Harry Potter,
The Wizarding
which
World.
has the same effect of that. Like a lot of people read this as kids. I didn't because I wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter, but I read it last year. I didn't finish it, but I read like half of it, and like it very much still like stands. You know, like even as an adult, like the world is so like you're just in it, you know, like when you read it, like you are transplanted into this world fully, and it's just so cool, and it is a really cool escape. And I think the fact that like things are still coming out like in the series, which I feel like is a little too much, but the game, like who did any of you guys have the game that just came out for Harry
Yeah,
Potter?
I got it.
nar.
Yeah, I
I want to
played
talk
it.
about it a little bit.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's like they do a good job of building the world up. So like it feels different, but I also only watch the movies. So I don't really know. I feel like the
Yeah,
movies didn't
same.
explore the world that much. Like they really only focused on the main characters and
Yeah,
their arcs and
and
stuff. So I'm still trying to get used
book
to
really does
the wizarding world and all that. But there's no
so
Quidditch,
much. Like
Yeah.
that kind of made me mad.
sad.
Who's your house? What's your house, y'all?
I'm
Are you
Hufflepuff, I
a
believe,
Slytherin?
but that was like a BuzzFeed quiz, so it could be incorrect.
You're a
You're a
Hufflepuff.
Ravenclaw. Oh, that
No,
bullshit.
no.
No, she's a
Hadassah's a
Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff with Ravenclaw tendencies.
She's
Okay,
a
I'll take
Hufflepuff
that.
Ravenclaw rising.
I'll take that.
I'm also a Hufflepuff.
Okay,
I took like the official quiz. And I'm a
the
Hufflepuff.
official
So.
quiz.
Yeah. I took
Come
the
on.
official Pottermore quiz and I got Hufflepuff and I was angry. So I took about 10 other quizzes. On each other quiz, I got Ravenclaw. So I am claiming Ravenclaw because the sorting
I can
hat
see you being
does take
Ravenclaw.
into account what you actually want to be. So I'm taking Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw
Megan,
makes sense for you.
Yeah.
they, you know what you are?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's a Slytherin.
Oh,
We knew.
okay.
She's
We
a
knew that.
Slytherin. She's a
Slytherin. I was about to say,
Slytherin.
she's
Slytherin
That
all
was
day.
crazy.
Without a
That was
doubt.
crazy.
Like, there's no
Y'all,
question
they are
about it.
lying on me. Y'all, they're lying on me.
Million
Do
Slytherin.
y'all
percent Slytherin.
believe that? Do y'all believe that?
Bro,
They are
look at
lying on
your
me. They have
profile
no
picture
proof
right
of
now. You tell me that man Miguel is not a Slytherin?
I'm a villain.
Like, literally an
I just
antagonist.
like him.
She got green and black in her closet.
What that got to do with anything about me, about my sorted house? I mean, yeah, but we didn't have to be so sure of it. We didn't have to be so sure. Okay.
But
It's
But,
okay. I like Slytherins.
Yeah,
I guess
ain't nothing
so.
wrong with Slytherins
guess.
sometimes.
Y'all
like, edgy
lying.
when they want to.
Exactly. Y'all get on my nerves.
Yeah, I mean, the
But
fact
yeah,
that like, we can talk about it still, I feel like, shows how.
people love Harry Potter. That's
Mhm.
not gonna die.
They do.
That's not gonna
Were
die.
They do.
y'all a part of the
Die.
Harry Potter
The
Percy
merch
Jackson beef?
I wish it was.
Like, you know how people would just be
Mm-hmm.
fighting in middle
Oh
school?
yes.
Be like, Percy Jackson's better. No, Harry Potter's better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You know what? It's
And
so
I was
funny,
on
though. People
Percy
were like,
Jackson's side
Oh,
every time.
100%.
Every
but people would be
time.
like, who would win in a fight? I said a wizard versus a demigod who used to be
Like,
getting,
don't be
knives thrown at him
stupid.
by God. Don't be
Don't be
stupid. My mom was
stupid.
13 killing gods.
I feel
My
like
mom was
it's
13 killing
hard to
gods.
compare them.
Don't
Like
play
the
with me,
only
bro.
similarity I see is the fact that like they're both young boys who like
White boys.
young white
Yeah.
boys who like kind of had a interesting family, you know,
Dynamic. Yeah.
dynamic, and then happened to be this like chosen person, you know. Other than that,
All
yeah.
I know, Percy
Sorry.
Jackson wipes the floor with Harry Potter every
Yeah.
time.
No,
Every
Percy Jackson literally
time.
fought like the god of magic. So,
Literally.
come on.
Harry Potter's
They
light
making my
work.
boy a
Harry
break.
Potter is light work.
If I was Percy, I'd have been like, "Can I go on summer break now? Like, why y'all? Like, why finding somebody? Like, can I sleep?
And
I sleep
I feel like I
in?
know more
Dang.
about Harry Potter than I do Percy Jackson. So
Read the books, Hadassah. Read them. Read them. Read them.
Yeah,
Read them. Read
yeah,
them.
We literally
When the
all
show
have them.
drops. What's your Okay, well then on that question, if you were a magical being, what would you want to be? Like you could choose from anything. You could be a demigod, a wizard, a fairy, a mermaid. What would you want to be?
I want to be where the people are.
I want to
wanna
see.
see
I feel like
them
I'd be a
dance.
really cute wizard,
dancing.
like a really cute wizard, fairy mix.
Thank you
If
for
that was
actually
possible.
answering the question and not doing whatever the two of them just did.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Come on the
was.
show. Come on the show, Haley.
Ali,
Come on the show.
Hallie.
Oh,
Hallie.
Hallie, come on the show, Queen. We want you on the show. Come on the show.
yeah, but I think
Um,
I'd be like I feel like being a wizard would be really fun. But
Yeah.
then also like my question with wizards this whole time, like I don't know, like are they naturally like magical, or is it only within spells? Like, you know,
That's a
do
good
they
question.
have to know a spell in order to have that power? Because if so, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be like naturally powered. Like I don't want to have to depend on a stick and some words. You know?
I think it depends on like which world, because I think in Harry Potter, like they do need like their wands and the spells to be able to do it. But I know other like magical worlds, like it's again the special thing where you're born with these powers and you can like
See, but
do
in Harry
hoodoo
Potter,
voodoo with
you're
your
also like
hands.
you can't just be like a regular human, right? Like you still have to
You have to be
you have to
Well,
born
no, you
with
be
can't,
those
because
powers.
you
yeah.
can be Muggle born, which is
Do
like
they
you were
have
born from
powers though?
parents, like regular parents.
Yeah.
Right, but you still have the power though. You couldn't be a
Mm,
regular person walking down the
Yeah,
street
that's
and
what I'm
have regular
saying. Like
parents and
in order to be
fail.
a wizard, you still had to be
mm.
with
Yeah,
have
you gotta
wizard
have
blood
some
in you.
Yeah,
power
that's
in
where
you.
it's weird, because like the Harry Potter universe didn't separate, because there's a difference between like wizards and warlocks and sorcerers, but the Harry Potter world just blends them all together and doesn't differentiate.
Yeah.
So what do you know the difference? Like what's the sorcerer?
A sorcerer, I think,
Mickey
is
Mouse.
someone
Uh-oh.
that
Sorcerer's
trains, like they like read and learn about magic. A warlock is someone that's like, I think, granted through like exterior power, like deities and stuff. And then I think a wizard is innately, like you just innately have magic capabilities. I think that might be wrong. I might have mixed them up, but
Right, dogs
I'm
fighting in the
Damn, some
so
back.
dog is
sorry.
fighting for their life. Some
So
dog is fighting for
sorry.
their life in the back.
Yeah, so I don't know actually. I'd wanna be magical and sparkly and cute.
Period. Girly pop.
What was the
I
original
kind of
question?
agree.
what
What
mythical
would you? What
being?
magical creature would you want to be? Yeah, because I kind of
Uh,
agree. I kind of want to be like a mermaid or like a Winx Club fairy. Like something like that just eats. Like I just want
Yeah,
to
like
be
I wanna like
a girl
glitter in the
with her
sun.
stuff. Exactly. Like I just want to shine. Oh my god.
But I also wanna be able to
mm,
fight, you know, like
Mm.
you know,
mm.
like real like
Here's
don't
the
stop
thing.
fluttering.
Here's the thing. In my head, like I want to have a sword and I want to be fighting gods and all that stuff. Like I want to be
Mm-hmm.
a demigod. But I know in actuality, as soon as something comes flying at my head, I have to go. I have to leave. I have to get out of there because that is too much. So I think like I'd be like some fae, like some nature fae type stuff, just prancing around in the woods, picking flowers and shit. Like I think that's what I would do. I'd be
So
like,
Yeah.
damn, I wish I was a demigod, but I know I can't.
so you'd be like one of the nymphs in Percy Jackson, all the
Yeah,
like nature
yeah,
spirits.
for sure.
That means you get to hang out with
I'd
Grover
be a
and the
water
satyrs.
nymph. Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's
Cause
me.
nobody want to be fighting for their life each and every day. Like that. That
Yeah.
would get so
Mm-mm.
tiring. I would be like, girl, just kill me.
Right, like
Like I can't do with this.
I want to have the ability to where like if I needed to save the world like I could, but like I don't want the pressure to just be on me. You know, like I don't want it to have to be
Exactly,
my
yeah.
responsibility.
Nah,
I get it.
give me all
I
of it.
get
I want to
that.
fight every day. I want everybody coming for my
We
head and
gonna
not
die.
being able to catch me. Like they gonna be like, "Oh, you heard about Kamal?"
The
They be like,
villains gonna
"Yeah, I think I could take them." And then they show up and I lay them down. Like, come on, that just seems like
This
the
Yeah.
best way to do
sounds
it.
made up.
So I would definitely
This
do
doesn't
demigod,
sound like something that
and you still
actually
get powers depending on which god you're from
Mm-mm.
too. So like I could just fight with the sword, but then I can also whip out some like magical powers out of nowhere. So yeah, I'm
sounds
ready to
like
That's a
a
fight.
real
dream.
man answer you just gave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
it
then
was
yeah.
you
very
woke
It's a
much
up.
like
real
teenage boy
male.
energy.
I'm not gonna lie, it
Yeah.
was.
It's
What
very
did
I,
male
I
of
man?
I'm
you.
a, I'm gonna stand by it, but
Oh my god. Ooh.
I've like always wanted to control the weather or like nature. If I could do that
Okay.
somehow.
Purr. Come on, Storm.
But I don't want to be a superhero.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
do superheroes count?
I feel like
I don't
They,
think
no.
well,
so.
superheroes
Okay,
aren't
yeah, I
fantasy
didn't
worlds,
think
are
so.
they? They're not fantasy.
They can be.
I
It
don't
depends
think
on
so.
Okay.
depends. Because there's demigods that are superheroes.
See what the definition of fantasy is.
Yeah, but I don't
That
think
was
the
a
two
debate
worlds like overlap. I mean, like, I don't know. When I think of fantasy, I don't think of like superheroes and shit for some reason.
Yeah.
Like they just don't those are two separate things in my head.
Well, there's also those worlds where it's like people just do have powers out of nowhere. Those are kind of fantasy
Yeah.
worlds, but they're still like not. I don't know. I just want to fight things.
I don't
Yeah,
know. It depends.
I
I
want
want
a I
a
want a
no
villain that's
fantasy
always
world
coming
that's
after me.
like
I want a nemesis. Yeah.
Oh.
Y'all saying
Go
y'all
ahead,
don't want a
Hadassah. Look
nemesis?
at Hadassah's
Come on.
face. No, what the
no.
world?
All right, y'all.
Although a good enemies to lovers.
Okay,
I didn't say
okay.
it because
Okay,
Well, like I said,
I don't like that trope. So
okay. I said me.
lame. Ooh,
Me.
This is about me.
The
whoa.
thing that I love so much about when I read fantasy books, like for me, there has to at least be a sprinkle of
a
a subplot of romance. Has to be.
Ooh,
Has to be.
he's down. He's
Because
down.
something about like, especially after I started reading fantasy more and more, like regular romance to me is so boring because like, what do
It's
you mean you
so
guys just met
boring.
and like fell in love? Like I need it to be like I can't be with you because your father's the king and like I'm some mystical being and like he's gonna shoot me down if I even come close to your like it needs to be some tension. There needs to be
So good.
stakes have to be high and there has to be some fight or
Mm-hmm.
something. My favorite, of course, in fantasy, I think like overall tropes, we've already talked about this, I guess, in the like Valentine's Day episode. Overall favorite trope is friends to lovers, but when it comes to fantasy, enemies to lovers every time.
Every
My favorite
time.
Cruel Prince. I think I've talked about this before, but like he had or she had like a knife or like a sword to his throat, and like was like,
Is that the
you
one
need
with
to
the
tell me
tail?
everything you know, yada yada yada. Basically,
Is that the one where the guy had the tail?
yes, but
Yeah.
I like that part. Okay, but I'm talking about that was an unnecessary detail. I don't know why. Like Holly Black girl, I love your writing, but why? 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 But anyways, enemies to lovers eats down every time.
Yes.
I
I
dig it.
think for me, I want them to be in dire danger together. And a prime example of that in this here book, The House of Hades,
Oh my
which is in
god.
the
Oh my
Percy Jackson
god.
please,
series.
please,
Oh my
please
They
show
god.
me a different book on that bookshelf, please.
Have
hold
you
on,
seen
hold
Parks and
on.
Rec, Shia?
Yeah.
Have you seen the episode where I think it's like Will something, I forgot what his name is, the actor. But he's like so desperate to get Twilight into the like
Yes.
time capsule. You are really giving the energy right now. Like fully. You're like, yes, and that is actually in Percy Jackson.
I love this series so much. Here's the thing. In this book, Percy and Annabeth fall into Tartarus together, which is like the hell of the Greek mythology, and they have to walk through it together, and they're like on the verge of death, and they have to rely on each other, and have to like support each other through it. It's so good. Rick, you ate with this one here. This one, if this doesn't make it to
Rick,
my television screen, I'm canceling everything. Everything.
Rick, hire Shia, please.
For
She
real.
needs to work with you because something
Yeah.
she going crazy. She's going feral in her room.
Wait,
Good
here's
grief.
wait,
I
I have
get it
another
though.
book. That's not. This is not Percy Jackson. To prove that I read other things, this is
Okay.
not Percy Jackson.
Is that the only one?
You see how long it took her to
No.
find it? You see how
Ooh,
quickly she found them Percy Jackson books?
look! I got this one too, with
Ooh,
this white man on the
Those
what
cover.
is
are your
that?
books. Those are your books. Those are not your
Stop,
books.
please
And if
stop,
these are
These
Taylor.
books,
are
you had to
mine.
get them from high school.
These are mine.
Did you get that
I
for
used to
school?
read back in the day. This one was for school,
She
yeah, but the
lying.
other one wasn't.
Yeah, I can tell.
Mm-hmm. It still had that library sticker
You
on it.
can.
Yeah, I think we all kind of agree, but like we like when the stakes are high. I don't know. Have you guys
Mm-hmm.
read Scythe, like the series?
Yes. Not. I haven't finished it, but I read the first one.
I read the first one. I haven't finished the series, but that is so good. Like Again, stakes are high. It's like I don't know if you haven't heard of Scythe, it's basically like this world where this is perfect living society basically where like death does not exist anymore because like everyone's health is like perfect, it's completely safe, everything. But because it was getting overpopulated because like death doesn't exist, the society decided to create these things, these like people who basically murder people in order to keep the population down. And so like the main character is like training to become like a scythe. It's so good. It's very graphic at times, I feel like. But very much stakes are high and there's a little bit of romance in there too, so really good. Recommend.
I
Love a
second
World.
that.
Would
Really,
love to see it.
you know.
I love a romance and a fantasy book. I eat it up every time. I ship it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the parents always be so good too. Like the people that they end up with is always the person they're supposed to end up with. Like it's never like no random. Like we don't care about you. Like put the other
Yeah.
two main people back on the screen. We do not care about person 67. Move, move.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, do we have anything else we wanna? What time are we at? I feel like my computer's about to die.
Ooh. A quick little shout out to my girly pop, younger girl, fantasy worlds like Wings Club, Trolls, Monster High. I ate you up. You did what you had to do for the girlies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you watch the Netflix Winx?
No, babe.
I watched a little bit of that and it was okay.
It's not good. It's not good. It's very
Oh.
bad, actually.
And then shout out to the classics, of course. Good old Lord of the Rings. I grew up watching a lot of those movies, although I forgot everything that happened, but I remember it was good.
Is Star Wars fantasy?
Sci-fi.
Yes, sci-fi.
Sci-fi,
Oh, you're right.
sci-fi and fantasy are paired together a lot. Like I feel like
They do.
I say yes in certain elements of it.
Yeah.
I feel like you know there's just so much.
Oh, my screen just completely
Yeah.
froze. So whatever y'all just said did not get recorded.
That's crazy. We were just trying to figure out if Star Wars was fantasy or not, y'all.
Yeah,
But
which I feel like
there's different parts.
sci-fi and fantasy are very closely related,
Hmm.
and Star Wars kind of goes in between both.
Yeah.
Um,
Dang,
I
should I
agree.
say something about a video game?
Probably.
Isn't there like a whole video game series
Should we
that
talk about any
has
other-
fantasy in the name?
Oh, Final Fantasy. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah. Didn't you
There's
like
a bunch
steal my
of 'em.
PlayStation?
Yeah,
just so you
Final
could play the
Fantasy.
game?
You know what? That's crazy. Still, it's crazy because you brought it there and you told me to take it. Don't try and say a black woman is stealing from you.
ooh,
Whoa.
Um,
Whoa.
let's stop that allegation.
All right now.
Yeah, Final Fantasy, really top tier, really good of its class. If you want an anime to watch, that's fantasy based, I recommend Demon Slayer. It's kind of sad, but it's really good. It's about slaying demons. It's in the name, but it's good. It's there. It eats. Watch Demon Slayer.
Do they slay any
okay,
demons?
yeah.
We'll talk about anime one day. We'll talk about anime one
Yeah,
day.
no, we won't because y'all don't watch
we
anime.
will. I want to get into it.
We're gonna get into it. We're
I've
gonna talk about it one day.
I've seen the first 3
Yeah,
episodes
right.
of almost every anime.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of
don't do
first
nothing.
episodes.
Episodes. Y'all, they don't watch anime for real.
We will.
Don't kind of
We will.
We will.
We will.
Now, I'm be
Name
honest, I
one that you
probably
don't
won't,
watch.
but I know about it.
Name one that you want to watch.
I do want to watch Soul Eater
Can you
and
even
Demon
name
Slayer.
drop?
I have like a whole
Soul
notes app
Eater's
list. I
good.
think.
I also want
I
to
think
watch
Isaiah gave
Chainsaw
me
Man.
recommendations.
There's another one that keeps
Okay,
getting
yeah,
suggested to me.
good.
Oh, Full Metal Alchemist. I want to keep
I want to
watching that.
watch.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's
don't
one.
try
That
me.
one's pretty good too.
I want to
gonna
watch.
finish it.
True, but I'm gonna appreciate what I do watch.
Go ahead, Shia. Whatever.
Whatever. I want to watch Demon Slayer. I started it and I actually really liked it. I just never got around to finishing it. And Attack on
So
Titan
good.
because everybody and their mama talk about that show.
Mm-hmm.
So
everybody in
I
their
feel like I'm
phone.
gonna watch it.
I also want to watch Bleach.
Sorry.
Bleach,
Okay,
yeah,
you
I've heard
see
about
how you
Bleach.
naming all this stuff, and Kamal's not gonna watch one episode of any of these shows. He
I've
keeps
literally
talking about,
watched
y'all.
at least 3 episodes
I
of
can
each
give
one of
the
those things that I just said.
the benefit of the doubt. What is 3 episodes? Okay, guys, let's wrap it up because here we go. We do
Yeah.
this every single episode. Somebody get to fighting. But yeah, we love us a good fantasy
Love
book. If you make
fantasy.
fantasy books, drop them in the comment section. Let us know if you write fantasy books. We will check them out. Well, Hadassah.
Yes,
Hadassah
I love
actually
reading
who
fantasy so
reads.
much. My last honorable mention, if you're tired of 16-year-old white girls in your fantasies, read Legendborn. It is so good. It is a black
That's
girl in the main. She's the main character.
Ooh, I do have another
If
If
you're
you're
one.
tired of
That is
white girls in
crazy.
your fantasies,
Wait, I also
That
if
is
you're
a
tired of
crazy
a white girl
sentence.
in your fantasies,
I also
find
have
that
one that's
better.
it's based on African mythologies. Hold on, let me see if I can. Children of Blood and Bone. It's kind of like Percy Jackson-esque, where it's
Oh,
like
did
they
you
talk
read
about the
that? I
gods
heard
and
it was
stuff.
good.
Yeah, that one's good, and that's a African
I heard that was
mythology.
good.
So check that one out too if you're also tired of
Okay, period.
the standard.
Yeah.
The black
White
people.
girls in
Black
your
people really aren't. Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that. I just meant because every single character is like a 16, 17-year-old white girl. And like, okay.
I know what you
I
meant,
do.
but the sentence was
I
just
agree.
crazy.
You know, they don't think
I
black people
agree. We
exist
do
in
need more
fantasy,
black
so
people in fantasy.
yeah.
They really don't. It'll every other person will be there, and then there will be one black person that walks through the screen one time, and then that's
Oh yeah,
that's
did
all
you
right.
see that?
That's
Did
all
you
right.
see
Get
that
off the
Twilight.
screen.
they're talking about casting the girl from the daughter from The Last of Us, the black
Annabelle.
girl? No, as
Oh
Astrid in How to
yeah,
Train a Dragon.
that's Astrid.
Yeah, and like
Interesting.
immediately
And
I
I'm like,
opened it up
that,
and the first comment I said was, "Why would a black person be in Scotland?" And I was just like, "Whoa, what about the
I
dragons,
will
buddy?"
say, like,
dragons.
Not the dragons.
I like
The
to see diversity
dragons.
in these stories, but also like, what about just new stories for us? You
Oh yeah,
know,
Oh
no, I
yeah,
do,
okay, okay.
you
I
know,
do
like
just
the
want.
dragon, like,
I'm not gonna lie.
you didn't need that.
You don't ever do that correctly, bro. You say a horrible sentence in the
Oh
first
yeah,
part and then be like something so sweet at the end.
Yeah, I thought you were
Stop
about to
doing
say
yeah.
that.
something
We definitely thought you were gonna
crazy.
go out of pocket.
Wait, what? What did I even say?
I was kind of
How
ready
did
to
I even
cancel
start
you. I'm
It
not
sounded
gonna
like you
lie.
were like, I like diversity, but you blacks need to stay off the screen. Is what it sounded like you was about to say. Please say this sentence better, bro. Stop doing that. You do that every episode, every
I
single
like to
episode.
keep people
you
on
do
their
that.
toes.
But I
Not
agree.
to be
not about
racist,
that.
but
I was about to say, don't do it like that. I don't know. I don't. Why did they choose to do How to Train Your Dragon?
No,
A
that's
live
what I was
action
I don't
saying.
show?
know.
Like, out of all the stories, I feel like for that, like, we didn't need her to be black. That's okay.
I didn't need that. Yeah, I didn't need that.
Yeah.
I mean, not even that. I don't need the live action. Period. Like, then that series
Yeah, I
Mhm.
But yeah,
feel
just
that's
like the
finished.
that's
dragon
what I
was
mean.
good.
We don't need a live action one. Just give us another fantasy black person.
Period.
Yeah. Like they
Hey,
were
Yeah.
make
supposed to make
new
a movie
stories,
out of that
please.
Children of Blood and Bone story.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, we gotta stop. Stop.
That's what we got.
better.
Sky over here, our nice, incredible writer. He's gonna
Mhm.
write us some new
Shia.
fantasy.
Oh wait, actually no, you're
with
not allowed to write
people
right now.
players.
You guys are striking.
Oh yeah.
And once the strike
No.
ends,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm definitely on strike because I get paid for my writing, so I am also
Yes.
on strike. Is the
We
truth.
support the
Yes.
writers.
Mhm.
Yes, and then Day's gonna create some
support the
wonderful,
writers.
diverse games.
Huh?
I guess not. Never mind.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Let me. Wait. You know, I don't get no control over that, right? Like, I'm not the writer. I just.
Okay,
I
this
just
is
make the
just
stuff.
a magical fantasy hypothetical situation in the future. Okay.
Are you
I'm
not
sorry,
gonna
I
model
just
the
like, it just
characters?
took me by surprise.
Like just model the
But if
characters.
they say they gotta be white, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do?
Just make them really tan.
You don't know, Day. Get it.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, thank you for listening to us
Saya,
basically argue the
Saya.
entire hour. Thanks for supporting
She
Unqualified.
said, "You're gonna make some wonderful, diverse games."
I just said what
Anyways,
else to do.
we'll talk to you guys
I don't write
the
games,
next
y'all.
episode. Please end it, Kamal. Bye.
Wait, no,
Bye.
wait. No, more diverse games. That's what was right. More diverse games, y'all. But we go.
I'm ending it now.
Bye.